Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me and welcome back to the Listen Up Pro podcast. This is your LGBTQ plus news roundup where we go beyond the headlines and talk about what it actually means. Today's episode is a powerful mix of history, protest, culture, accountability, and resilience. We're talking about a groundbreaking new prime minister in Europe, a massive transgender pride protest hanging from El Capitan, sports stars calling out homophobia, and so much more. It's a packed one, so let's get into it. Let's start off with the history officially shifting in the Netherlands. At just 38 years old, Rob Jetten has been sworn in as the country's youngest and first openly gay prime minister. On January 23rd, the Democrats' 66th leader was formally sworn into office by King William Alexander at Huis ten Bosch Palace in The Hague. It was a moment that symbolized not just generational change, but cultural evolution. Ahead of the ceremony, Jetten posted, "What a day. Soon we'll be on the balcony for the swearing in. Proud to be able to do this together." After taking office, he declared on Instagram, "We can get started. The new cabinet has been sworn in and can officially begin." But beyond the milestone, Jetten is stepping into political turbulence. He leads a minority government facing intense debates over defense spending, healthcare cuts, and asylum policy. The Netherlands, long seen as socially progressive, is grappling with economic pressure and shifting political winds. Jetten has called this the beginning of a new phase, promising collaboration and solutions. But the question now becomes, can a historic symbol of inclusion translate into effective governance in a divided parliament? For LGBTQ plus communities across Europe, the symbolism matters deeply. Representation at the highest level reshapes what's possible, but leadership in 2026 requires more than symbolism. It requires results. So congratulations, because I am so happy that we are getting that started in the Netherlands. We've got to start somewhere. Next, Oscar nominee free to stream. In a rare and generous move, the Oscar-nominated short film A Friend of Dorothy is now streaming free on YouTube ahead of the Academy Awards. The 21-minute film stars Miriam Margolyes, who I love, as Dorothy, an 87-year-old widow who forms an unexpected bond with his 17-year-old neighbor, JJ. The title itself is a historic queer reference. Friend of Dorothy once served as a coded language for gay identity during a less accepting times. The film explores loneliness across generations. It's about being unseen and finally being recognized. At a time when LGBTQ youth isolation and senior loneliness are both major issues, the story resonates in a quite powerful way. It reminds us that queer history is intergenerational and survival often depends on connection. Next, John Waters joins American Horror Story. The cult filmmaker John Waters is officially joining season 13 of American Horror Story. The openly gay director, known for pushing boundaries since the 1970s, revealed the news during a spoken word performance in his hometown of Baltimore. Waters entering Ryan Murphy's horror universe feels inevitable. Both thrive on satire, camp, and cultural commentary. Season 13 is already generating buzz, and Waters' involvement continues. Something delightfully twisted may be coming. I can't wait. I love all John Waters films. I've met John Waters in person, and he is so amazing and so talented, and I love him. Next, trans flag protest leads to lawsuit. Last May, a 55-foot wide transgender flag hung on El Capitan in Yosemite National Park for 2 hours. It was breathtaking and controversial. Now, S.J. Jocelyn, a federal bat biologist and former park ranger, is suing the U.S. Department of the Interior after being fired for participating in the protests while off duty. Jocelyn argues the termination violated their First Amendment rights and Privacy Act. They say visibility is not misconduct. The lawsuit raises serious questions. Can federal employees engage in peaceful protests on their own time? And does LGBTQ visibility get treated differently? This case could set precedents for government workers nationwide. Next in California, Gavin Newsom and cultural normal. California Governor Gavin Newsom recently said Democrats need to become more culturally normal to win elections. That phrase raised some eyebrows. While Newsom highlighted his early support for marriage equality, critics worry that culturally normal may signal a retreat from bold LGBTQ plus advocacy, especially on trans rights. In a movement where LGBTQ plus people are under intense legislation attack in many states, political language matters. Will Democrats double down on equality or soften their stance for electability? That is very interesting. We'll see what happens. Next, in Texas, LGBTQ club ban blocked. A federal judge has temporarily blocked enforcement of Texas SB 12, a new law banning LGBTQ student clubs in certain districts. Judge Charles Eskridge ruled that Houston, Plano, and Katy districts cannot enforce the ban while litigation continues. Opponents call the bill one of the most openly hateful measures debated in Texas legislature. That's hard to believe, but for students seeking safe spaces, the ruling is critical, but it's temporary. Next, we have a homophobic graffiti at Highmark Stadium. Construction workers reportedly confessed to spray painting homophobic and pornographic graffiti inside nearly completed suites at the $2.1 billion Highmark Stadium in New York. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz called it anti-LGBTQ sentiment. 7 workers were under investigation. It's a reminder that discrimination doesn't just happen in legislatures, it happens in everyday workplaces. What a shame. Now we go to detention centers under the orange felon. A married couple from Azerbaijan says one husband remains detained in Georgia under the orange felons administration, even though both have agreed to voluntary departure. TA-40 has been held since January 14th at Stewart Detention Center. His husband says TA has lost 25 pounds and is struggling mentally. The couple married in North Carolina last year, but plan to report back to Azerbaijan, where LGBTQ people face discrimination and their marriage won't be recognized. Immigration policy has real human cost, and this story shows how bureaucratic delay becomes suffering. In women's hockey, the team declines an invite. The U.S. women's hockey team declined an invitation to attend the Orange Felon's State of the Union address. The invite came after he joked he would be impeached if he didn't invite them. The team cited scheduling conflicts, but the message felt clear. They were graceful, but unavailable. Sometimes silence speaks loudly. For heated rivalry fans, the cottage is now or coming to Airbnb. Fans of Heated Rivalry can now rent the iconic cottage, home to some of the show's most romantic scenes. Located in Ontario, the waterfront property rents for $248.10 Canadian per night, and a nod to the characters' jersey numbers. It's only available for 4 weekends, and yes, is expected to sell out instantly. And it goes on sale, or it starts to be available for rental on March 3rd. There was some drama last night at the State of the Union. Democratic Representative Al Green was escorted out after holding a sign saying Black people aren't apes. The protest referenced the Orange Felons' reposting of a racist image depicting Barack and Michelle Obama as apes. In his speech, the Orange Felon also declared, "We ended DEI in America." All the Republicans stood up and clapped whenever he said this, as if they're very proud of this. This moment underscored ongoing racial and cultural tension at the highest levels of government. Next, Courtois calls out homophobia. Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois has spoken out against homophobic slurs, saying they must be treated as seriously as racism. His comments followed an on-field incident in which a player allegedly used a Spanish A was clear. Racism, homophobia, we cannot accept these things ever. It's rare and important when elite athletes take such direct public stances. Then we go to Orlando, where Julian Emmanuel Cruz, who is 33 years old, was shot and killed outside Savoy Orlando nightclub early Sunday morning. Police arrested a 37-year-old named Jean Gabriel, charging him with second-degree murder. Cruz's father said, "All I have left is a shirt with a bullet hole. It's devastating, and it's a reminder how quickly conflict escalates when firearms are involved." Next, Pope Leo signals no change. In a new biography, Pope Leo indicated that changes to Catholic teachings on LGBTQ plus issues are not very likely in the near future. He emphasized welcome for individuals, but not affirmation of identity. The global church remains deeply divided. For LGBTQ plus Catholics, the tension continues. Now we go to Mark Wahlberg's His Past is Revisited. Ryan Murphy's new drama revisits Mark Wahlberg's documented past rapist and homophobic incidents. Wahlberg served jail time in 1988 for assaulting Vietnamese men and had a prior civil rights injunctions. The series doesn't centralize, it contextualizes Hollywood's memory is long. I didn't realize that he went to jail and he had a rape allegation, but I did know he was a little homophobic because I've heard that many times. Now we go to Tim Gunn Opens Up. Tim Gunn revealed that he has been celibate for 43 years. After a painful breakup in his early 20s, he stepped away from romantic relationships entirely. His honesty challenges assumptions about queer life and reminds us there's no single path to fulfillment. God bless him, 43 years with no sex. I don't know how he did that, but to each his own. And our last story is St. Petersburg lights the sky. After the removal of the rainbow crosswalk last year, St. Petersburg, Florida responded with something bigger. A massive rainbow laser installation lit up the sky during Winter Pride. 7 beams stretched across the skyline. Visibility adapted and rose higher. So that is today's episode. History made, rights challenge, athletes speaking up, artists reclaiming space, communities grieving, and communities rising. In 2026, visibility isn't symbolic, it is strategic. So stay informed, stay loud, and stay visible. If my podcast resonates with somebody you know, please be sure to share it. Also, leave a comment on my podcast. Let me know what you think about it. On whatever podcast platform you're listening to, be sure to subscribe. And thanks so much for listening. And I'll be back later with more LGBTQ plus news.